So in Riot, you give the player the role of a participant in a protest, right? And he's approached by police. And I guess it's a very powerful experience if you're immersed into that. How dangerous is it to place like police as an antagonist there, something to overcome? Can it send the wrong message to some people, like obstacle to be overcome? Can it send the wrong message? How dangerous can it be to use technologies in such a way?
What do you think the right message is then to send to people?
I don't know.
So kind of wrong or right is really a matter of your perception, right?
Yeah.
So the same as well, like Jamaica's the same, like, hey, the cop will stop and hey, what are we going to do about it, and give them some money. Maybe if you're in America, and particularly if you're a young black man, which has happened, is that the police stop you and you could potentially end up shot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've heard those stories.
Yeah, that's quite, that's like a real reality for black men in particular, for black people. There was a black woman recently who was shot in her own home. She was playing video games with her niece.
Yeah.
So there is, culturally, the relationship you have with police is very different to what black people have in America. And also the UK, there is an antagonism because of the history. Because they don't carry weapons, it's not as life-threatening on a daily basis. Not saying black people aren't killed, but it's just not as regular because the tools aren't there.
Yes.
So, to answer your question, I'm reflecting a reality that's very relevant in terms of working class person, black person. As we tend to move in the West, we're moving more towards a police state, I would say, where they're using like more military tactics for some things that they're doing, say like kettling and other things like that they use when there's like protests. So I wouldn't say it's wrong. I would say it's reflective of a real reality for many people out there. And it's putting a person against responding to a police character, but also within Riot, which you probably weren't aware of that, they also responded to other characters, like somebody in a riot. Somebody who's a looter was trying to encourage them to loot, and then somebody else needed help from the police. So there's a variety of characters who they came across. It was kind of reflecting this times that we're living of global social unrest, and where there seems to be protests all around the world. Whether at the time very much Ferguson and Baton Rouge in America, but now it could be Hong Kong. You know, so it's I think, and the people if I was to make a project now, Riot now, and I had people from Hong Kong in it, it would be a very different narrative. It would be about surveillance. And you know, your character's going to, there's surveillance cameras all around you. What do you do? Do you take down the surveillance camera? Do you go that direction where the cops are? Do you run back? You know, because now we're very much, before it was human emotions, but now the technology has come straight into that narrative of surveillance.
That's exactly my next thing I wanted to talk about.
Let's go, we're both on the roll.
So the same technology that's used in Riot is used, as you said, in China and other also Western cities and countries. And now there are protests in Hong Kong, and the governments are using it to monitor the citizens, right? And what can we as citizens do about it? How can we take control of our data? It's our data in a way. Do we have ownership of it, or do we just have to trust our governments, big companies?
When did you, do you trust your government and big companies, or are you saying now's the time to start?
A government, we don't have a government here for like, since the last election, because they can't agree with each other to form one, so it's a different
culturally, it's a different thing. So you mentioned a couple things there. Data, I would put them into two factors, data and surveillance. So that was a very good question in terms of what can we do about it. So there's many ways that this can be approached. So with regards to surveillance, Hong Kong, they are kind of resisting surveillance.
Yeah.
So they could be physically taking down or the hardware, or there's things that you can do with makeup.
I've seen people having like projectors and projecting different faces.
Having scarves that have like filters for Snapchat, so that when the camera's on you, it's kind of getting all these filters. So people are being disruptive through technology with surveillance technology. And technologists are being creative with their disruption. So there's not one way, there's like a variety of ways that people are doing this. So we, and as the people, can continue with this kind of exploration or disruption. And as part of that is, anytime I'm developing software like artificial intelligence, the company that I work with, ThoughtWorks, a technology company, a global company, but I work with the part in New York, we make our software available open source. So it's like, most of the time you think of machine learning and AI, you think, okay, these big companies have it and the government, but what about you? Why can't we have AI? Why can't we have machine learning? Why can't we have our own software that we can create our own versions of? So then that's what we did. We want the people to have it. So we make that available open source. So that's regards to creating a disruption and then creating our own tools with regards to surveillance. There's lots of people who are resisting this on a global level and challenging it. There's an organization called LAPD Surveillance. They are watching the LAPD and in
policing the police.
Yeah, policing the police. And what they did, moving kind of into data a bit now, is that the police were developing machine learning algorithms to tell them where to go in the community. And what they did is that they said, we want to look at your data. Why are you in here? Why are you in this area? It's always poor people or people of color. Yeah. And they subpoenaed their algorithms.
So data should be open to everyone?
It's like if you're down here, you say it's the AI. We want to see the AI.
Yeah.
We want to see, how did you get to this decision?
Yeah.
So there's organizations who are doing these things and are fighting it on many levels.
Yeah.